Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another The Sports Youth video. Today, as you saw by the title, we are talking about Minnesota receiver Rashod Bateman and why I think he can be the best receiver in the 2021 NFL draft class. If you guys do enjoy NFL draft content or more of these player analysis, make sure before we get into the video that you do subscribe and like the video. We are a smaller football channel, so all the support we get means the absolute world. So if you can quickly help us out, it means a ton. And let's get into the video. Just before we want to get into the video, I do want to let you know I did do a lot of research. So a lot of the Rashod Bateman analysis videos on YouTube, I did take information from or learn new information. So again, I do not mean to copy any of them. I do have my own twist on it, but just so you do know. Who is Rashod Bateman? He's 6'2". Coming out of high school, he was a 4-star recruit. Got a lot of offers, ended up picking Minnesota, which was not the strongest out of the teams. Got offers from Tennessee and others. Coming out of high school, ran about a 4.45 40 time, if I am correct, which is incredibly fast for someone at 6'2". What I really think separates him is he's been really consistent since his freshman year up to his junior year. He was a Big Ten wide receiver of the year, as well a Blitnikoff finalist, and I think he has all the tools to be a great receiver in the NFL. Let's get into some of the analytics. What are some of the stats, the in-depth stuff that really does make him a great receiver? His final career stats over the 3 years he played, he had 2,395 yards, 19 touchdowns, and in his sophomore season, he averaged 20 yards per catch, which is absurd. As I go through the video, I'm going to give you guys some of my comparisons, try and make the connections there. My two people I would compare him to, one of my comparisons in terms of NFL would be Kenny Golladay due to his size and just ability to go up and get the ball. And then another one in terms of his route running ability would be Justin Jefferson. And the comparison there is amazing because I think he'll have that Justin Jefferson value in this year's draft. He'll be looked over by a ton of teams, taken, and be incredible. What I thought was really interesting when you first dive into what really Rashod Bateman brought to Minnesota was that he was very, very good while having Tyler Johnson, the 5th-round pick who played in Tampa Bay this year, making his Super Bowl debut as a rookie, and was a very established wide receiver at the collegiate level, especially, as I said, with having a very dominant receiver. We've seen what he can do in the NFL. He really brought, he was even better than he was in college in the NFL. So I think just being able to get targets while having someone as good as him on your team is very important because you win those targets. Your quarterback has to trust you to throw the ball to you, and obviously Bateman had the skills and tools to get those targets. Sophomore year, he was 7th in yards per route run. As well, he was 7th in receptions on 20-plus yard passes. As a sophomore, he only had 9 more receptions while bringing in 505 more yards from his freshman year. Just to give you a comparison there, in 2018, his freshman year, he had 51 receptions, bringing in 704 yards, while in 2019, in his senior year, he had 60 receptions, only 9 more than the year previous, while bringing in 1,219 yards, and as I said, averaging 20.3 yards per catch, which is absurd, especially considering just the players he had playing against him. And what I really think is important, what a lot of the analysis you may have seen on Bateman, is that he was really producing at a young age, from 18, 19 now to 20. He's really just been such a consistent receiver, and that jump we saw from his freshman to sophomore year, from being 18 to 19, is absurd considering just how young you are, and playing, as I said, against Tyler Johnson. Just all of the things that can get to a teenager really have not got to him, and I think it's really important to see how much he's grown from those 2 years. And right now, I'm making a bold prediction. Analytically, I think he could be a top 10 pick and a top 3 receiver. I think by the end of first year, I think people will think he could be a top 5 to 10 pick. And as I said, a top 3 receiver. I think he really just has the talent and intangibles that every single good NFL receiver, like Devontae Adams, like Keenan Allen, like Kenny Golladay, like Justin Jefferson, we saw from him in his freshman year. I think he can just be such a good receiver. Into the part you probably clicked on the video. What do I love about Bateman? I've been kind of introduced to Bateman as draft season started. He opted out of this season, so his stats are obviously not that good, as he played 5 games for Minnesota, bringing in 472 yards on 36 receptions with 2 touchdowns. What separates Bateman from all of the people who are talking about, like Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, and Jamar Chase? What really makes him stand out compared to those guys. And what I really am impressed is his speed, his ability to take off the top of defense while still being 6'2", which is a lethal combo. He has speed and size to catch over other corners, takes the top off the defense, makes a huge route downfield, and he can still catch over corners who are originally, usually, as at least now going to the modern NFL, their corners are a bit bigger, but generally 5'11" to 6 foot corners. He has around 2 to 3 inches on those corners. With having that speed and ability, it's just such a lethal duo. As of March 3rd, if you search up his 40 time, he ran consistently a 4.39 40, which is absurd considering, as I said, he's 6'2". He's the tallest receiver by an inch of the top 5, Devontae Smith, Waddle, and Chase. I believe Chase is 6'1". I believe Smith is 6. It might be the other way around. And then Jalen Waddle is 5'10". And speaking of Waddle, considered the fastest receiver in this draft, whether not analytically, I'm not sure. There might be, later round receivers who have a better 40 time, but considered the fastest receiver. Again, no hate on Waddle, but just, I don't know if that's true or not. Literally, is he the fastest in terms of 40 time? He ran a 4.37 40 time as of reported. Bateman is 4 inches taller than him and has ran 0.02 seconds less than him, which I know that is, that's considerable in the NFL, or just in terms of measuring 40 times. But if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, that's really not that much for someone who has so much height over him. Comparing him to another speedy guy in the draft, slot receiver from Florida, Kadarius Toney, who ran a 4.4. So Bateman, I know, only has a 0.01 advantage over him, but still Bateman is a lot taller, and Kadarius Toney is considered one of the fastest receivers in the draft. Another thing I really like about him is his ability just to run the whole route tree. He can run any route, whether that be intermediate routes, as I said, deep routes, and as well he can run shorter crossing routes that really can be lethal with the speed he has. Comparing him to that route running and just that ability he has there, what I really like about him and what I give him, that Justin Jefferson and even people are talking about the Keenan Allen and as well Devontae Adams comparison, is his pure route running ability, his ability to run routes with his feet. And I mean, just getting off, creating separation at the line of scrimmage, in and out of cuts. He is just such a good route runner in and out of cuts, as I said. It's what makes him so lethal in the red zone, because he can get immediately out of his route. He can shake off a corner, get space and separation in the red zone, which we've seen from receivers like Mike Evans. He does that little shimmy or that little cut, and he can just get so much separation with the size. Obviously, I'm not comparing him to Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a much bigger receiver, obviously, but I still think Bateman can be so productive downfield and in the red zone, which is what I love so much about him. He's a multi-threat receiver. He can get you with his speed, or he can just catch it over you. And then as well, just it's so hard for corners to estimate or just what leverage to show him, due to he can run short, he can burn you downfield, he can get you off at the line of the scrimmage. Obviously, I'm not going to just, talk all of this greatness about Bateman and not give you, obviously all players in the NFL, maybe a few, have cons and stuff that is not the greatest. And Bateman really has nothing that won't be coached, as you'll see. And they're very nitpicky. They're kind of, if you really dive deep into the film, if you want to go do that after this video, you can see a bit of this. He does drop sometimes, so whether that will really depend on what team he's going to, really depend on the type of throws he gets from NFL quarterbacks. But I think, again, that can be very much coached. Off-season work, it's so much more intense than in college. So I think the drops will really start to lower as we see him in the NFL. Talked about his in and out of cuts. I do like it, but I think that they can be a little bit more sold. He can kind of hit that cut a lot harder, which again can be coached, and I think he will learn, because NFL corners, the level there between what Minnesota plays is very, very vast. And he'll see, when you're going up against a guy like Jalen Ramsey or Kyle Fuller or, all the good corners, you can't not sell your cuts, because you're not going to get space with really, really talented corners. So again, that might not even be a coachable thing. It might just be like, hey, I can't get separation. Obviously, I'm doing something wrong when I'm doing a cut route or doing a comeback. So I need to sell those routes a lot more, which I think he can definitely learn. And what I would like to see him is his versatility on the line of scrimmage. And what I mean is where he can set up. He's a much more outside receiver. So he's as well, as I said, downfield, or he can cut in. And what I would love to see is, can he play a little bit of slot? Can he play a little bit more inside than as much as he does does outside. Again, I know he's 6'2", and skill sets might not be there for him, but teams like to see wide receivers who are versatile, like Kyle Pitts, that kind of receiver who can play slot, he can play outside, whether you list him as a tight end or not. He has so much more traction from teams due to where he can play. And I think it'll very much depend on where Bateman goes. If he goes to a team that have a very, very established slot receiver, then obviously he won't need to be versatile in that position, but just still having that going into the draft is very, very important for teams to see, hey, this guy can play outside, inside, he's fast, he's huge, why not take him? Now, I'm going to talk about some landing spots. This won't be too in-depth, just 4 teams I would like to see him go to, or teams I think would be good fits. Number 1, and this is the one I really would love to see him, is Baltimore Ravens. That offense would be absurd with Bateman. Lamar Jackson would just be so much more explosive and just have someone to throw to with Marquise Brown on one side, Bateman on the other. Again, there he might not be running as fast or as deep routes, but I still think he could still use that, and he would just give Lamar that target that he needs besides Mark Andrews in the red zone, and just when he needs that 3rd down conversion, 4th down conversion, I think he would be great there. Number 2, I'd love to see him go to is the Detroit Lions. Obviously, we've seen, Galladay has now signed with the Giants. I'm not mad that he left, but they are in need of a receiver. I would love to see him go in there and immediately be that wide receiver 1. And I've compared him to Galladay, so they're basically getting a Galladay in the draft. Number 3 would be if Miami move off of receiver at 3, I would still love to see them address receiver. I know they got Will Fuller. I don't think that's a move that will be long-term. I think Bateman will be a great pick for them at 18 if he does fall, although I think he's worth higher than 18. I think he's at least a top 15 pick, but I think he'll be great value for Tua Tagovailoa. And number 4, this would be assuming they get a 1st-round pick this year, would be the Houston Texans. We've seen all the rumors flying around of Deshaun Watson. I think if they were to go get a true wide receiver 1, they've lost Hopkins and Will Fuller in the past 2 years, I think Bateman would be such a good fit for them. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. Make sure to comment down below if you do want us to do, I'm saying us, if you guys are new, there's 4 other people or 3 other people on the channel. If you want us to do more draft prospect analysis, we'll be pumping out so much more draft content as the date really does start to linger up, about a month away, which is crazy to think about. We started this channel around then, so a year's coming up. So subscribe if you do enjoy draft content. We'll be coming out with so much stuff, mock drafts, all that stuff, as well. We'll be coming out with breaking news, so we can be your media outlet, NFL outlet. Do make sure to subscribe. Help us get to 1,500 subscribers would mean the absolute world. We respond to all comments. We go live a lot, and we have interactive conversations with our subscribers. So if you don't want to miss out on that, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. It is free and helps us out a ton. As well, do make sure to check out our socials, link down below. Our Instagram, which is _sports_scoop. That is the social we're on all the time. We post updates when we're going to post videos. So you guys, if you do like the channel, you can get insight on what we do, and you can basically know when our videos are coming hours and hours earlier. It's free to follow us over there. Do make sure to follow us over there. As well, our website and our TikTok and our website and second channel. You can subscribe over there. We post clips, and our website where we're trying to post more articles and stuff like that, where you can as well post and write articles. The link is in the description. We'll see you in the next video, guys. Rashod Bateman, watch out for him.